Microsoft PowerPoint 2003 Workspace Fundamentals. Yes, I know. You might think to yourself, why do we have to concentrate on our workspace? Well, I got to tell you, I'm here to put the fun back in fundamentals and show you how our workspace and how it's laid out can actually help us make great presentations. If you've ever used Microsoft products before, you are going to recognize many of these things in our workspace, including our task panes, though there are a few different changes on how we use them in 2003, menus, and our viewing modes, how we view our workspace. All right, let's get a show of hands out there in the audience of who has used PowerPoint before. Now, I'm pretty much sure that the most of you out there raised your hand. You've used PowerPoint before, and you might have used maybe PowerPoint back when it was in Office 2000 or Office 2002, which was also known as Office XP. But with Office 2003, PowerPoint 2003, there are a few different things that we can see here. Now, one of them, of course, is the task panes. The task panes we'll see a little bit later on, if you click down on it, give you the ability to do a lot of your common things that, as a PowerPoint builder, you are going to want to utilize. Things like help, search results, clip art, research, and you also have the ability to go to the different menus that used to be just the task panes that were set up. You'd have to pick which one. Well, now you have that drop-down arrow that'll let you go to each one here. Some of the ones you might use here typically are going to be your animation schemes, custom animations, and slide transitions. At least from my standpoint, I use those more than just about anything else, except for maybe if I'm doing some clip art. So these task panes are over here. If you don't like the look of them and you don't want them taking up any of your workspace or real estate, as we like to call it, you merely just click on the close button and they disappear. And this looks like a more traditional view that you might be used to with PowerPoint. In this case, what we have is our blank presentation one, a normal PowerPoint template where we're starting from scratch. Now, by default, you are going to be shown just two of the primary toolbars, and they're right up here. You have your standard toolbar right here, which has your new and copy and paste and some of those. And if you wanted to, you could click on these double arrows that you see right here and show you the rest of the buttons that are available on your file toolbar or your standard toolbar. Now, if I look over here, I have my formatting toolbar, which shows my fonts. I can do the size of fonts. This is typically done with the text. You got your bold, your italics. You can use the shadow, which is always nice, how you want your text to appear. And again, if I come down over here, I can see that I've got a whole bunch of selections, including the ability to add a new slide and even change the design. And we'll show each one of these a little bit later on in our presentations. You're given 9 menus up here at the top. This is called the File menu. These are your toolbars down here. Here's your File menu, or your menus, I should say. The first 3 that you have here, the File, the Edit, and the View, deal primarily with the viewing and opening of your documents. Things like which normal slide sorter, hey, you say that a couple times fast. View, slideshow, notes page. Edit allows you to cut, copy, paste. You can select text. And File, of course, how you save and open and close your particular presentations, as well as maybe some print and page options that are down right here. The next 3, Insert, Format, and Tools, all deal with adding all kinds of stuff, from everything from clip art to animations to movies, sounds, how you format the text that you have, your slide design, and even some tools if you're going to use spell check, research, whether you're going to do online collaboration, which we'll see on how people can say, hey, let's work on this presentation together. No problem, we can use online collaboration. We also have autocorrect options, and the big one, here is where primarily all of your options for 2003 PowerPoint are. If I click on that, you'll see it brings up your options dialog box, and here you can see save, security, spelling and style, whole bunch of things. And we'll come back here and we'll see if several of these during our presentations. Let me go ahead and cancel out that. You also, at the very end, have 3 other menus here: slideshow, window, and help. Slideshow, window, and help are all about the presentation and how you view it. So here you can view the show, you can set up the show, animation schemes, custom animations, windows, or how you, if you have multiple presentations open that you're working on. Right now I only have one, but I could switch between the next ones. I can maneuver between panes if I want to. And of course, help. We're going to see here in just a minute how you can use help to really just make your PowerPoint shine. And a lot of people say, well, how can you use help to do that? Well, number one, nobody knows everything about PowerPoint. I've met some of the guys that help design this stuff, and even they say, hey, some of my other guys put in some stuff here. We don't even use it all the time. You might forget how to do something. Well, with help, you can get the help you need, either through the Office Assistant, yes, Clippy's still around, or you can go online, which is my favorite. I can go in there and come on out there online to a collaboration group where there's people that use this on a daily basis and say, hey, folks, have you ever tried this, or what's the best way to do this? And they're going to give you some help. Okay. Down here on the side, you will have your slide and your outline view pane here. Slides show your slides exactly how they appear. And right now we don't have anything on my slide. Or I can use the outline view, which will then list the title of the slide along with the actual number of slides, and you can reorder them here, and you can do a whole bunch of things with the order. Or you can come back here to slides and actually see a little thumbnail or preview. Now, if you click on this, you can notice that right now I don't have anything in here, and it just shows it up as blank. It has no title. But over here in the workspace, you can see that, or what they call the slide area, slide pane area, you can see things like here's where you'd add your title, your subtitle, some of your markings. Those will show up over here. But meanwhile, this will kind of give you a thumbnail or a little brief view of exactly what it's going to look like. And so you can have a whole list of different slides that we're going to always see. And so as we continue to build our PowerPoint, you're going to see how this will also allow me to maneuver and insert new slides in between. And again, it's just a way to organize and to shuffle the deck, you could say. If you think of each one of these as a card, your PowerPoint slides, you can shuffle them over here and reorganize them. Now down here is the way that we can change the view of our PowerPoint presentation. Right now we're in normal view. Where in normal view you have your slide pane options for your your view options, or your outline, or your slides. We saw that. Here's your slide pane view, which means you can do editing. And down here, you can kind of see it. Let me bring up Mr. Notes down here. You can click to add notes down here, where I can say this is a blank page. And these are my presenter notes. These I can print up separately with a picture of each slide. And so as I'm making my presentation, I can have notes here that allow me to have information and help me make my presentation. Kind of very neat. Or you can add notes down here that you can print as part of your handouts on each one of these slides. So let's say maybe I do a quote of a famous doctor, and I can't fit the the reference of the actual quote, or which book it was in or magazine. Well, down here I can put it in the notes page, and that way if I print this out and send it to somebody, they can say, oh, that was in New England Medical Journal number volume 16,732, or whatever it was, and then you know where to go to find that. Also, you can then, so this is our normal page, so we have the two views here, outline and slides. We have our slide pane view here where we can go in and make changes. We have our notes. So that's normal. Then we have slide sorter view. Here you can notice if I had more than one slide, so let me go ahead and just add a new slide in here. So now I have more than one. It gives me my slide layout. We'll close that just for now. But here I can move my slides around and reorganize them. Not real well, but it works for us, right? Here's my title one, move it up to the top again. And so I've changed position. That's great. But if I have 100 slides in a presentation, that's going to be a long presentation, by the way, I can come on over here, click on Slide Sorter View, and then it puts them all on the big page. And now it's a lot easier to maneuver between large amounts of slides and see the order that they have. And again, it tells you this is number 1, this is number 2, the order that those slides will be. Your other view is called Slideshow View. Now what can happen is you can either click here, or you can click Shift F5 and it will fire off from your current position the slideshow. If you just hit F5, it starts from the beginning. So if I was over here on slide 2 and I just hit F5 or started the slideshow, it would start from the beginning. If I want to start from this particular slide and go forward, I can come down here and click on it, slideshow from current slide, or I can click Shift F5. By the way, even if you're over here in this view, you can still come over here and click on slideshow from current slide, and it's going to allow you to start previewing what it's going to look like on your screen. So we can't forget that we also have a little bit of information down here at the bottom of our workspace, including the drawing toolbar that is put into place here. We got our drawing tools. I can click on the draw down arrow and do some different things like orders of rotates or flip or change an auto shape based upon any information if I already had it up here in my my slide pane. So we have our drawing. We can change our grab arrow. We have our auto shapes, which we'll spend a little bit of time showing you how we can use these. We use auto shapes probably out of all the Office 2000 series. If you take in my Word or Excel, you'll notice we had these, but we didn't do too much in the way of utilizing them except for maybe using flowcharts. But on PowerPoint, that's where these shine. These, you're going to use these quite a bit. We're going to see that a little bit later on. We can do our typical drawing of the lines, arrows, boxes. We can create text boxes, which is very important because in PowerPoint, you don't have just ability to plop a cursor somewhere down on here or select a cell somewhere on here like you do with Word or Excel. No, instead you have to create text boxes, and which is nice because then you can maneuver and manipulate them all over the screen. So that's kind of cool. We have word art, which allows us to do that, those funky, things where it goes, the word, and it splashes across the page, or it goes up and down, or does some interesting things. We can do our diagrams or org charts. We also have pictures and clip art. Right down here, we have our filling colors, our line colors, and all different kinds of things that we want to do. Notice we have the shadow styles and 3D styles. Some of our characters and our capabilities here, we can create 3D type of effects, which is really awesome. I mean, because think about it, PowerPoint is all about the presentation. It's all about you standing up in front of people and making just a knockdown or knock 'em dead kind of a presentation. Of course, please understand that's a very American colloquialism. If you are from another country, knock 'em dead just means that, hey, boy, they're really impressed with your presentation. Well, because you have little things like this, 3D style, shadow style, a lot of people just kind of snicker at it or laugh at it. But believe me, just a little bit of added flair, as we like to say, will definitely make your presentation stand out, and that's what we really want to be able to do. So overall, we see that we have our workspace here, and two other things we want to show you. One is down here. If you ever want to know which slide you're on, if you're clicking up here, now of course, you've got the numbers here on the side, even if you go into the outline. But let's say that you are on slide number 2, but you want to know how many total slides are in the presentation. As you see, as we add more slides here, in fact, let me just go ahead and add a whole bunch of new slides. I'm coming over here and clicking on New Slide. I'm just going to add all these new slides, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I clicked a whole bunch on my mouse, okay, and that just added all these new slides, and like we saw earlier, it'll instantly bring up the slide layout task pane in order for you to make changes on it. Let's go ahead and close that. But let's say, going back to my original point here, you're on slide 4 and you're like, I wonder how many slides I have. Well, down here it will tell you the slide number of how many slides you have. So you know the total number of slides in your presentation just by looking down here, and this gives you that information. It also tells you which design you're using. We're using the default design, obviously, because we just open up PowerPoint. It comes with the default design. So, and if you make any changes here to a design, and I'll show you this in one of the subsequent videos when we make some changes, because here's the design. Actually, come on. Let's be nice. Let's go ahead and use design here. This is the default design. We have all kinds of designs under the slide design task pane. I'm just going to choose clouds, right? So we want to use clouds. Now watch what happens. As soon as I do this, and we'll talk about this later, every single slide now in my presentation is using this particular design template because it is a template. It's used for everything. But if I close my slide design and I'm like, you know what? Someone says, hey, Chris, What kind of design template are you using? That's cool. Those clouds. That's kind of sweet. What is it? Oh, it's which one is it? Look down here. It'll tell you. Clouds. Oh, it's one of the ones that come with 2003 PowerPoint. It's called Clouds. And so they can look it up and they can use it for their particular PowerPoint presentation too. And you know, it's very peaceful, looks real nice, and whatever one. Or if you design one yourself, as we're going to see later on, we'll create our own design templates. And it'll say like Chris's super cool presentation. No, I won't say that, but it'll say something similar like a presentation template that I use for a particular type of presentation, whether I'm using it for a medical presentation. Believe it or not, yes, even us end user IT guys and project management guys, we actually do presentations every once in a while to the medical community alongside other doctors who can obviously speak things. But what I can do is I can use different types of templates depending on the different type of presentation I need to make. So in this video we took a look at some of the things that we can do with our task panes, and we have a few more options nowadays. We also saw that we can go ahead and use different types of menus for different types of functionality. No problems there. And then the different viewing modes, whether we're looking at slide sorter view or our slide presentation preview, or whether we're using our just our standard outline or slide pane, it doesn't matter. We have different viewing modes and different things that we can use to help make our presentations shine. I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.